Hi there, I'm Skye from Sumo Cyco, here in the beautiful London.
Hi, I'm Angela from the blog Nerdvanation, and I'm here with Skye from Sumo Cyco. This is your second tour here in Europe this year?
Yeah, well actually we've been to UK 3 times.
This year, 3 times?
Not this year, but
not this
in total.
Year.
Yeah.
So what do you like best about touring in Europe?
Well, I would say that a lot of the times when you're a new band like us and you're playing especially in front of big crowds that Fozzy and Nonpoint bring on this tour, it's very hard to get people to warm up to you because they don't know who you are and they're kind of like, ugh. But when we played Europe recently, we were able to get the crowds jumping and cheering, and I think that's something that would never happen back in Canada, where we're from. It's very hard to get people into the music if they haven't heard it before. So I think sometimes over here they're a little bit open to just having a good time, and it's not necessarily about which band they're there to see. They just want to be entertained, and if you give them a good show, they'll respond, and I love that.
Yeah, they just come to have fun.
Yeah.
That's nice. So this summer you were busy playing Warped Tour. How was it?
Warped Tour was kind of a dream for me because I've always wanted to be part of that festival. I've attended that festival. My guitar player Matt has, dreamed ever since he was a kid. He was really into punk music and would follow all the big Warped Tour bands. So it was a big accomplishment to be on that tour for us. Although we've heard from many friends who have played Warped Tour, it's the most grueling tour because you have to be there first thing in the morning because you have no idea when you're going to be playing that day. So the tour schedule is very rigorous, and it was just 4 of us traveling, so we had to split up driving duties in the middle of the night and sleep in the van, and we built like a bunk in the van so that we could sleep. And I mean, we did a quarter of the dates, but I couldn't imagine the people that do the full dates. You definitely need to have someone help you out as a driver because it's insane. But we had so much fun. We met so many cool kids, and I've been waiting to get to a lot of those cities before, so we had a great time.
And what's the best memory that you give from that tour? Or one of the best
One of the best ones. There's so many good cities. I remember specifically, I think was it Albuquerque, New Mexico? I feel like we got the crowd going really well. It all depends when you play, because sometimes you'll get a good slot or you'll be competing with another band. So you end up sometimes having like no one show up, and then some days you're like, wow, okay, there's kids here. We gotta really put on a show. But my favorite memories is it was so hot. We had no air conditioning, so we brought these super soakers to spray everyone. And apparently that's the thing to do on Warped Tour. So we got to meet a lot of kids by like soaking them in the face with a super soaker.
That's a good first impression.
Yeah.
Playing in a festival, I guess the atmosphere is much different than playing in a place like Barfly when you played here last time, or the O2 Islington. Yeah. What do you prefer?
I prefer any time that I can get in front of a crowd that wants to have fun. So sometimes you'll be in a big venue and people want to have fun, and sometimes they won't, and sometimes same thing with the small venue. So it's hard to say. With Barfly, it was cool because it was a headline show for us, so it was really like heartwarming to see that we could have that many kids and people show up to a show for us. I just didn't think that so early on in our band's career that we'd be able to do that. So that was really cool to see like a pretty packed room full of people that were there to see us. So that was really cool. But we're gonna see if tonight it could be a really fun time. It might compete with that. I'm not sure. We'll have to see what the crowd's gonna be like tonight. But I think it really depends whether the crowd is there to like have fun, have a good time, or if they're kind of like judging you too harshly. So we'll see how it goes tonight.
So it's more about the people than the venue.
Yeah, I think so.
This month you released a new music video for your song Like a Killer, and it's a really cool video. I really like it. Yeah. And all of your videos are really cool. Where do those ideas come from?
Well, Matt, MD13, and I from the band are huge horror movie lovers. We'll just watch so many movies. So we do get our ideas from all different kind of influences, kind of mix them together in our own psycho way. So like for instance, this last video, Like a Killer, we used the influence of like an Indiana Jones type idea, Tomb Raider, mixed with, there's a video game on iPhone called Temple Run. I don't know if you've ever played, but it's basically you just kind of follow this a person running, and then you have to dodge different obstacles. Okay. So we kind of used that and then mixed it with our characters we call the Terranauts, which are these big skull head dudes with like green all over them. And we painted it to look a little bit more like sci-fi, I guess. And and then we kind of like mixed it all together and came up with this crazy concept. But most of our videos have some type of horror movie concept in it. So like it could be like killer clowns, or like a scary scarecrow, or using all different fairy tales and stuff and working it into our Sumo Cyco world we call Cyco City.
And that was the title of your debut album?
Yes.
And that you released last year in Canada?
Yes.
And this year in the UK,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
So what are your influences when you wrote this album?
Well, musically, I love a band that I'm sure many people in the UK will know is Skin Dread.
Yes.
Big fan of that band. There's a band called Animal Alpha that I really fell in love with a little late because they're no longer a band, but I listened to some of their old music, and they have a very strong female lead who comes up with some really crazy rhythms, very close to like the screaming mixed with like rock, and I love that. But I grew up on, No Doubt, one of my favorites early. No Doubt is like a big influence, and I look to Gwen my whole life as kind of like a fashion icon and style icon, so that's kind of influenced musically as well. But I think one of our main things with Sumo Cyco is we never want to stop a direction that we go in because we feel like, oh well, if we're a metal band we can't do that, or if we're a pop band we can't do that. Like we want to create something with all genres in mind, and we have everything from like calypso beats to like I can do raps to screams to melodies, and I let the creative side of my brain and the songs just like take me, instead of necessarily trying to fit into a mold or to try to make a song for a specific genre. I just want to like let it all kind of flow out of me naturally.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's what makes bands different. I think.
Exactly.
So that's really cool. And you're working on your second album right now, aren't you?
Yes, we're close. We've got some ideas. We have a pledge campaign going at pledgemusic.com to get some crowdfunding going. But we will be starting to really buckle down and write right after this tour. So it's hard sometimes when you're on the road to find moments to really get in the zone and write. And right now, Matt, MD13, he's got some cool instrumentals, but it's up to me to come up with the lyrics and melodies, so he's kind of waiting on me. So I told him as soon as I'm done this tour, I'll like get into the studio and just hammer it out and make something really cool. And I'm so excited about it because we've learned so much being on the road this past couple of years. On how we want to structure songs that go across better live, and what's easier to sing, what's harder to sing, what gets the crowd going, what doesn't, and we've got some good reactions to kind of work into what we're going to do for the next album.
Is it going to be similar to Lost in Cyco City, or is it going to be kind of different?
I think it will be a part 2 to that. It's gonna have a lot of the same elements, and it's gonna definitely feel like the same band, but I think we just want to amp things up a little bit, maybe take things in a little further direction than we have before, so we'll see how it goes. It should be a lot of fun, I think.
Okay, so finally, what can we expect from Sumo Cyco in 2016?
So 2016, you guys can expect a new album, new music videos. We want to do some more touring. We want to come back to Europe, come back to UK. I'm really hoping to do some more festivals next year. Everything right now is kind of in the works. Nothing is set in stone yet, but we'll definitely be posting all about it on our social medias, on our website, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all that stuff. So keep an eye out, and there'll definitely be some cool stuff coming out.
Okay, so thank you for being with me here today, and I hope to see you again next year.
All right, sounds good.